This movie sucks. I'm tired of this debate we're having where people are going, no, Black Adam is actually good. The critics are just mad at DC movies and they hate that it's not politically no, it's just bad. It's just a bad movie, guys. There's some editing choices that are crazy to me, soundtrack choices that drive me nuts. And we're going to talk about it using this screening copy that was clearly provided to me from Warner Brothers and not whatever Raj Bet is. Clearly, this is a professional, great screener I have here. Like, what do you want me to do? Back during a certain public health crisis, they would give you could watch the movie at home and actually get a rip of it. Now, if I want to talk about the movie and I want to talk about it, I want to have footage. Unfortunately, I have to rely on Raj Bet. Okay, we're gonna go through the movie bit by bit. I'm gonna tell you what didn't work. I'd like to play some scenes, but I have the feeling that if I play even a single scene, this will be ripped down by Warner Brothers. They're very aggressive about copyright, so I don't think we can play any scenes. Sadly, that's the nature of film criticism. Okay, Black Adam is about Kahndaq. You know, because, and some people are criticizing this. They're saying, oh, you know, Warner Brothers doesn't have the balls to set it in a real country like Iran or Iraq. No, it gets too messy. You set it in a real Middle Eastern country, and there's just like way too much political baggage. You can't tell the story you want to tell. You kind of have to do, you know, it's like a Wakanda. You make up a world. That way you don't have to deal with all the political baggage surrounding it and Iranian people protesting your movie or whatever else. Okay, Kahndaq, 2,600 years BCE, so way in the past, before the J-Man, before Jesus. And this whole Kahndaq intro, is being narrated by the young boy at the center of this film, which was a strange creative decision. I thought Black Adam was going to be like a darker, more serious superhero movie, but instead it's literally Black Adam meets a little kid and they become friends. It's kind of like Shazam, but darker? I don't know. Anyway, so he tells you the story of Kahndaq. This is a terrible setup to have him just narrating it. He goes, and using the army to seize power. The kid cannot read. He's a terrible, I wish I could play his voice for you. He's a terrible narrator. But this clearly is something that should not have been done as a voiceover flashback. And it's one of those things where it seems like they were pressed for time. I mean, the movie is 2 hours long. It seems like they filmed all this originally intending to maybe show this actual story, which kind of seems interesting, what was going on back then. But then they decided they were crunched for time, so they had to condense it into this terrible narrated flashback, which goes on. Typically, if you have a narrated flashback, you want it to go quick to tell like a little bit of what goes on. This kid narrates the story of Kahndaq for like 6 minutes. Yeah, it's like it's 6 minutes of this kid just going, and then this happened, and then this happened, but then there was this guy. Anyway, all you need to know is they were looking for vibranium. I guess in the DC universe, it's called Eternium. They were digging for Eternium, a magic metal the king was forcing them to dig for so he could make a magic crown. And they found some Eternium, but then this kid found it. Where's that kid? And then this kid said, hey, I'm tired of us being slaves. We should rise up. There you go. There's the young Black Adam. This review will have spoilers, but for now, let's assume this is the young Black Adam. And he said, we need to stop being slaves. We need to fight the king. And they went. Everybody loved this kid. He was having a slave uprising happen. I mean, this is actually good backstory. Just why did you make it a 6-minute narrated flashback? I would have rather seen this actually play out. And as is, it's so squished together trying to fit this much plot into just 6 minutes of, and then they tried to execute the kid, but when they went to execute him, he got whisked away to a magic place where the wizards gave him the power, and he has Shazam powers. So when he says Shazam, he turns into Black Adam. And then he got all the powers, and he went and he fought the king, and then he saved all our people. Oh my God. Just 6 minutes. It's a terrible setup, and it's not even put into a frame of reference. This would have like made more sense if you then cut to the kid who's like talking about it, like in his classroom, like talking about the history of their country, or he's saying this to like a family member's. I don't know. It literally has no connection to anything. We never know why he's narrating it. You just have to accept it. It's never put into the framework of the story. In fact, the very next thing that happens, again, does not cut to him in the classroom giving a speech or something, which would have made sense. It cuts to him more narration of him talking about Intergang. I forgot about this. Intergang. It's so stupid. Intergang is a gang, you know, of white. It seems like mostly white guys, but they're colonizers, you know, and I guess they've come here to take the Eternium of Kahndaq, that they're also mining for this metal. The story never gets really that deep into these Intergang guys, to the point where it's actually just confusing as to why they're there, why they've taken over this country, why no one has intervened. We'll get more into that maybe, but at some point they're like, how come you never sent, you know, any of your Justice Society guys to come rescue Kahndaq? I'm like, yeah, it does seem like if there was an international gang digging for metal in the middle of the desert to make crazy, like, nuclear bombs, that maybe Amanda Waller would have stepped in earlier instead of just being like, we don't care about what happens to Kahndaq. Anyway, it then cuts to this kid on his skateboard. And Black Adam, the moment this happened, I went, oh, this movie is being edited by numbskulls. So modern movies have this problem where they're basically like glorified music videos. We did it with Guardians of the Galaxy. We gave it a pass. We're like, all right, you want to put a bunch of fun music in it? Fine. At least you had a thematic reason for it. That this was his connection to Earth, and he had the what do you call it, pocket radio or whatever, the tape deck. Okay, fine, put some stupid music in there, and that's James Gunn's little trademark. But then we started seeing it everywhere. Every movie feels like it needs to jam in popular music to overwhelm the scene. And I was like, I started laughing my ass off the second they cut to this kid on the skateboard and you hear, the world is a vampire. I'm like, how cliche is this? That we're taking like 90s Smashing Pumpkins songs to try and set the mood. It's this stupid nostalgic trick where they go, well, we know people like this music, so if we put a bunch of popular music in there, it might trick their brain into thinking they like the movie. Well, it did the exact opposite here. I am just annoyed every time a movie soundtrack is completely top 40 hits from the past, 50 years of modern music. It's so obvious what you're doing. It's a pain in my ass. Okay, so after we learn how to get free spins for our registration bonus, shut up, this kid basically helps his mom get through a security checkpoint from these Intergang guys. His mom, this is not very clear, but basically they know about the magic crown. The magic crown that the king was building out of Eternium back in the ancient times. And she wants to get the crown. My assumption is that Intergang is like ramping up their operations, or there's hints that Intergang is searching for the crown, and that it seems like she's like, well, we have to beat them to the crown so that we can relocate it to a safe place. We can hide it away from them. Again, it's kind of silly that this movie becomes about a magic crown, but whatever. I guess that's just superhero movies. It's like, can't you do something that's not silly? Does it have to be like a silly artifact that turns people into demons? Can't it just be, I don't know, literally anything else? So they go to the rocks. You see this guy on the right. He's the betrayer, Ishmael. Very boring villain. This was the brother, who's kind of fun. He's like maybe the only fun character in the movie. He's not fun enough, but he is, the kind of jokey fat guy comic relief. He's the only person out of this weird family that I kind of enjoyed. I don't like the mother. I don't like the son. So they go in, and what do? Basically, one of them dies off immediately. Ishmael kind of disappears because he's working with Intergang. Yeah, there's one of them dead. And there's the Intergang. So, again, we never get a good explanation of what Intergang is other than super duper generic, boring paramilitary force. Like, I don't know what motivates those guys. I don't know why they're there. Like, I don't even know if the movie says specifically. At one point, Black Adam picks up a bomb, and the bomb says Ethereum on it, so I assume they're mining for Ethereum. I don't know if that line was actually in the movie, though. It's just kind of like, oh, we're here, and we hate brown people, and we control their country. And it's also one of those situations where you really have to suspend your disbelief. Like, they're fighting a god. here we're going to see. Let's actually just get into it. They find the crown. Ishmael betrays her. Inner gang shows up, and they go, give us the crown. And then as she's there, she finds this inscription while she's on the ground and summons Black Adam. So I guess the crown and Black Adam were both in the same tomb for some reason, which is kind of sloppy, stupid writing. Like, hey, we not only buried the magic crown here, but we also buried the magic guy here, even though they're not really related. I mean, kind of they are, whatever. Wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't it make sense if you just had that the bad guys were searching for Black Adam as opposed to a magic crown, and they wanted to harness his powers? Or maybe he comes with the crown. It's not like two separate entities. Anyway, like I was saying, this is one of those things where you have a guy who can catch, like, your bullets just bounce off his body. They empty multiple clips into him. And this is why these paramilitary groups in these movies are always silly to me, is I go, at that point, don't you just go, hey, I'm a hired gun. Like, I'm only here for money. We're fighting a god. I'm not, I have no more, like, reason to keep shooting my gun. I would just throw my gun down and leave. But instead, these guys are like, I don't know, like, what is your motivation at that point? You really have to turn off your brain and be like, no, they're just really devoted to their paycheck. If a god is standing in front of you and turning your buddies into dust, just stop fighting him. And that's the problem with having your bad guys be generic gang members. If they were like religious zealots, if they were ideologues, if they were promised, you know, once we get the crown, you're all going to be immortal, I would go, okay, kind of makes sense that they're committed to the bit. But as is, just being generic grunts and watching all your buddies die, I think you'd be like, okay, I'm out. This is pointless. Now, here's probably the biggest problem with Black Adam. There's a lot of problems with this movie. The biggest problem with this movie is it can't figure out a tone. Now, when we talk about tone for a movie, we're saying, is the movie serious? Is it funny? Is it dark? Is it lighthearted? Black Adam jumps around so aggressively in tone, and it completely undercuts the apparent message. I don't know what the message of the movie is. I think the movie thinks it has a message. It doesn't. And some people are going to say, well, it doesn't need to have a message. It doesn't need to. Well, you need a theme. You need. What is this story? What is Black Adam's character arc? Okay? What is he going to learn or come to terms with, or what? Because here's the problem, is we have this scene where he comes out of the cave, he's confronted by a bunch of these inter-gang guys, and he starts killing them. Okay, which is fine. Okay, this is not me saying you can't have murder in a movie. But he does it set to paint it black. I see a red door and I want to paint it black. And they're doing the stupid slow-mo, like the Quicksilver sequence from X-Men, which every superhero movie has to have at least one stupid gratuitous slow-mo sequence set to music. He's literally vaporizing these guys, turning them to dust, blowing them up, throwing them against mountains. And then it's supposed to be like funny. It's like funny and cool. And I'm like, okay, well, typically superhero movies don't depict killing people as funny and cool, because that's not what a hero's supposed to do. A movie that would do that would be like Deadpool. Deadpool, it makes sense because it's a comedy movie. And it's like, I'm killing all these guys. I don't care. They're all dispensable, whatever. At this point, though, if you're telling me Black Adam killing all these guys is just a cool sequence and kind of funny and goofy. At one point, there's a guy with a grenade. I forget exactly how he does it, but basically he moves so fast that he takes a live grenade and he puts it in the guy's hand. The guy goes, oh, shit, and he blows up to his own grenade. Okay, so it's funny to kill people. So this is a funny movie. But then later on in the movie, they're going to start having these very serious discussions about, you know, heroes shouldn't kill. Killing is wrong. And I'm like, well, the movie just showed me that killing is cool. The movie played a fun song and did cool slow motion stuff. So I know what the filmmakers believe. The filmmakers believe that killing is just awesome. Like, you should do it. You should absolutely perform extrajudicial killings in the middle of a desert and not use due process or whatever else. And we'll get into, they have all these discussions about why killing is wrong. And I go, you can't do that. You can't have that discussion now. You already showed me. At the very beginning of the movie, you said, killing is cool. Okay? A character didn't say it outright, but you showed it to me through the cinematography and the music and the action. You said, killing is cool. It's fun. It's funny. So when other heroes show up and try to have a serious discussion about it, I go, this is pointless because the movie's already made up its mind. And that is probably the biggest problem with Black Adam, is this complete shifting in tone of like, yeah, you know, Marvel has its quips or whatever else, but usually the quips in Marvel are not at odds with the actual storyline. Here, every time Black Adam is like fun and goofy, we're justifying the basically insane genocidal behavior of, you know, this crazoid. He believes that killing is the path to justice or whatever else, which is very interesting, but it's not interesting when you straight out tell me that killing is cool, because now there's no moral quandary, whatever. It's just basically you should be on Black Adam's side, killing is good. And when you have guys like the Justice Society show up and say killing is bad, you go, no, you're stupid. I saw a cool sequence that showed me how cool it is. So here's how schizophrenic this movie is. We've just met Black Adam for the first time, 24 minutes in. We haven't gotten a single sequence of Black Adam sitting down and having a conversation with anybody. Like, this is the point in the movie where we need to establish who Black Adam is. Okay, he's just met the family. He's obviously going to go back with them. It's time to learn about that character. But rather than do that, we then cut to Amanda Waller telling the Justice Society, hey, Black Adam woke up and you need to go deal with it. And then we have 4 more character introductions. We're doing character introductions for the secondary characters before we do the character introduction of Black Adam. Black Adam has not had a proper character introduction. He woke up, he said like 2 things, and he passed out from getting an Eternium missile fired at him. And now we're doing these stupid introductions of the Justice Society. This should have waited until further along in the movie. I think that's one of the movie's biggest flaws, is that it takes so long for us to actually get to know Black Adam when he's supposed to be the central character in the movie. But for the first part of the movie, he's just kind of like a weird, shadowy figure whose motivations and intentions are kind of unknown. Yet they put him alongside the skateboarding kid and they go, oh, isn't he cool? He's going to be your best friend. I'm like, I don't know this guy at all. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if I'm supposed to like him or hate him. Anyway, we meet a couple different guys. Best part in the whole movie is when the Fonz shows up and tells his nephew not to screw up his super suit. Fantastic. Great little cameo there. Here we've got Pierce Brosnan playing Dr. Fate. I'm going to say this. This was my favorite character in the movie. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm racist that I like the white guy as the best character. I just thought he was the most relatable character. He's kind of like a Batman-style guy. He's a rich guy. He has a magic helmet. I mean, I'm sure people who know the comics more about that than me. A lot of people are comparing him to Doctor Strange, but I felt like there was more than enough differences. He's not cracking nearly as many stupid jokes as Benedict Cumberbuckle. He feels like a Sean Connery, like he's coming into his own as a Sean Connery. He's the wizened older guy who's, you know, who you go to for advice, who's sagely in his wisdom. Okay, Amanda Waller tells the Justice Society, including this is a Hawkman here, the girl is Tornado, the kid is Adam Smasher, and of course Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. And she basically says, hey man, this ancient being, Black Adam, is awakened from his eternal slumber. Can you go, you know, put a lid on that? Which is, okay, sure. Makes sense within the confines of the story, I guess. Amanda Waller is keeping an eye out for threats and sends the Justice Society to deal with it. Again, though, I mean, how much time do we spend with this? Is that, how far away? All right, so at 25 in, let's see. Yeah, 25 in, so this is where Black Adam passes out. And then after 25 minutes, so we spend 15 minutes getting back to Black Adam? Is that right? We spent a lot of time with the Justice Society before we finally get to meet Black Adam. And this is the scene where, and again, we don't really learn a lot about him. He wakes up in the kid's bedroom. He's disoriented. The kid starts doing this Terminator 2 thing with him, where he's like, you should be a superhero. You should have a catchphrase, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God, are we really doing this? I think the whole Black Adam kid sidekick nonsense did not work. I feel like this movie would have just been better if it was just Black Adam shows up. He's a spooky, floating weirdo coming to terms with his stuff. But having this plucky kid for him to play off of, I don't know. It just did not work for me at all. The kid's obsessed with superheroes. He keeps telling Black Adam, you need to be the superhero of Kahndaq, blah, blah, blah. Ugh. I don't know. It was a little too saccharine for me, a little too sugary sweet. Meets the family, and the family kind of fills him in on what's been going on. Again, you're our only hope. Please, Black Adam. Motherfucker, this is a weird god demon who just sprung out of the ground. What you're going to assume? I mean, I guess because the history of their nation is that he was their great champion. So this kid assumes you have to do it like you did back in the day. I don't know, man. It's just a little too much for this kid to be running around telling him about how to be a superhero, telling him he needs a cool name. Yeah, clean up your outfit. You need a cape. You gotta have a more modern name. We're gonna get you a catchphrase. The catchphrase he gives him, he's like, next time you kill a guy, tell him the man in black sent you. And then it's a recurring joke through the rest of the movies. He keeps trying to use that stupid catchphrase, but accidentally killing people before he can get it off. That did not work for me as a recurring joke. Okay, so Justice Society of America is going to show up. This was hilarious. DC does not know how to do exposition. I don't even know why they felt the need to put this scene. There's a couple scenes like this. For some reason, all these DC movies feel the need to, like, explain shit that is not relevant or important at all. A great example that always gets made fun of is in the movie Suicide Squad, where, like, at the last minute, Katana joins the Suicide Squad. And the introduction that you get from, what's his name, Jack Flag, he goes, "This is Katana. Her sword steals the souls of its enemies. I'd advise not getting killed by her because her sword is going to steal your soul." And you're like, that's such stupid exposition to just have a guy, like, outright say it, not demonstrate it or anything like that. I get the exact same scene here with Dr. Fate's helmet. That helmet's from another planet. I wouldn't touch that. It steals. You get possessed if you put on the helmet. This has nothing to do with the movie. It's just stupid DC characters having to be like, Green Lantern's power ring, it actually works on willpower, but it can't affect yellow because we don't need this explanation. It's not helpful to the movie, and it's just pointless exposition. It's so clunky. Okay, so we're then going to get this kid is now trying to inspire Black Adam by putting himself in danger, getting arrested by soldiers, and doing the Diamond Dallas Page. Throughout the whole movie, they're all doing Diamond Dallas Page because that's apparently the magic symbol for Black Adam. There he is, move, Teth Adam, oh! And then the soldiers are gonna, whatever the kid, they're gonna harass the kid. Yeah, there you can see they know she has the crown. They're searching for her, so that's gonna create a situation where now Black Adam has to fly down and save them. They try to hit him with a pipe, doesn't work. And then there's again more of this soldiers shooting at a guy who's clearly invulnerable to their bullets. He does not care. Why are they even trying? And then they do this very weird thing. They play the music from what is it? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Sierra Leone. And it's the idea that he's going to have a quick draw contest against this guy. This makes no sense. This is the writers trying to be way too clever. Is that earlier in the movie, as he was just walking by, and in the background they were watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And that was the setup for this weird quick draw sequence where they lock eyes and it's who's going to pull their gun first. And it's like, why does this matter? We've already established that guns can't hurt him. Why are you wasting money on this cowboy joke? Yeah, look, quick draw, but he gets off quicker because he shoots lightning. Okay, but even if the guy had drawn faster, he just has a regular gun. It would not. This is just like masturbatory. It's a waste of my time. Okay, so at this point, finally, the Justice Society is going to show up. They're going to have a big fight. Let's get to that. All right, you have two choices: kneel before us or die. These guys are not good at diplomacy. We know who you are and what you're capable of, says Dr. Fate. And then they have a big dumb fight. Let's be clear. Fight looks fine. It's a fine fight. The problem that we have is that Hawkman is very much lecturing him the whole time because The Rock keeps grabbing people and throwing them against buildings or like flying into the air and then dropping them on the ground. And at some point they have this stupid conversation where he goes, "You need to be locked up because you're not, killing is bad." Which let's be clear, like that is a good moral to have in a superhero movie, is that yes, we're capable of, blasting a guy's guts open or ripping out their spine or whatever else, but actually the more moral and correct thing to do is to take them into custody, and deal with it in a court of law. Call me an idealist, but it's like, yeah, that is probably the right way to deal with it. That's the problem, is then the movie later on is like, yeah, but what if you're fighting a demon? It's like, well, yeah, obviously if you're fighting an actual demon, you can kill it. That's a different situation. But you're fighting generic paramilitary grunts who are just basically flesh bags and completely powerless against you. Like, morally, you're in the wrong if you kill those guys. 100%. No matter what. If you're Black Adam and you kill a regular human being when you had the ability to just take him into custody and put him in a prison, you're a bad guy. But, as we've established, the movie says, no, killing's okay sometimes. Not only is killing okay, sometimes it's really cool and badass. That's the huge flaw in this movie, is killing is not cool and badass. It can be fun and funny and like a schlocky parody like Deadpool, which is purposefully making it over the top. But if Black Adam's supposed to be set in the real world, which is the whole thing with people go, oh, DC, it's like, what if superheroes were real? Well, if superheroes were real, then Black Adam is a bad person for killing generic paramilitary grunts who are probably just there for a paycheck. I know the movie tries to say, oh, they're all evil and racist and whatever else. I don't know why these guys signed up. I don't know why they're here. And it's very childish and comical to go, sometimes it's okay to just straight up fucking murder people. No, no, it's really not. Like, not at all. At least not in a superhero context. Okay, so they have the big fight. Black Adam wins. And then somehow the Justice Society just gets sidetracked by this hunt for the crown. The woman is hiding the crown. They know that the crown is very important, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to help you protect the crown, sure. The one thing we do learn is that, all these people have been told that Black Adam was their savior and their champion, when in reality, he lost control. He was so mad that the king killed his son that he basically blew up the whole city and killed thousands of people. And that's, I guess, his major flaw, is that he, is not in control of his anger. He's not in control of his powers. He really is a threat to everyone around him. And that's why they're arguing he needs to be, locked up or kept away, that he can't just be allowed to run around. And he is kind of wrestling with that he lost control. But let's be clear. Are we going to define a guy by what he did 5,000 years ago? Is it possible he can change? I mean, I guess that's the central premise of the movie. Anyway, little guy comes home, meets his uncle. There's Ishmael, the traitor, who is searching for the crown. Reveals that he is in fact working with Intergang, I don't know, is he in control of Intergang? Who even cares? And they basically discuss, yes, the crown is so important. We need to get the crown, and then we'll get back to this stupid fight, and you guys can put me away. But first, we got to deal with the crown. Okay. Stupid little escape sequence with the kid, this plucky. I don't know, man. Terminator 2 was the one time that you had a kid running around having fun and being a part of the adult adventure that it kind of worked for me. Everything afterwards seems like a pale imitation. No one else has ever replicated the magic of Terminator 2, of a stupid punk kid on a skateboard or a dirt bike or whatever else. I just find these modern kids way more annoying, and his constant obsession with, oh, you gotta use your catchphrase, blah, blah, blah. That's stupid. I hate it. Remember your catchphrase? Yeah, he keeps bringing it up. It's a dumb running joke. Okay, so, again, Black Adam just keeps killing people here. This guy he picks up, says, put me down. He then just kind of drops him out of the air. And again, does the thing. And tell him the man in black sent you. Okay, it's too late. That guy's already dead. And then does he get hit by a truck? Okay, movie. Why did you not just leave out the little discussion? Why did you not just leave out Hawkman being like, you can't kill people, killing is wrong? If you're then going to have comical violence of him dropping people on the ground and letting him get hit by trucks. I already know what the movie thinks about killing. And frankly, I disagree with it entirely. Like, I think the movie is wrong to say, no, it's cool that Black Adam's killing all these people. It's funny. They deserve to die. Some people deserve to die. This is, like, sick. This is, like, kind of a disgusting moral. Killing is awesome. Let's set it to music and whatever else. This is not uplifting. This is not Superman stuff. Which is fine because it's Black Adam, okay. But Black Adam also is not supposed to be funny. Like, if you're really trying to make the point that extrajudicial killings are sometimes justified, you can't do it in a jokey, funny manner. You have to be like, listen, Black Adam's doing what he has to do. That guy was going to kill a kid. He had to blow his fucking head off. He had to throw him in front of a truck. Instead, we are very clearly shown that Black Adam has the option to not kill people and is just doing it because the movie thinks it's funny. That doesn't work. That's so bad. So here we go. Here's another one of the movie's big moral quandaries, is that Black Adam rips two soldiers up into the air, flies them into the stratosphere, and goes, the first one of you to tell me where the kid is lives, the other one's going to die. And, of course, he ends up dropping both of them. Hawkman's like, you motherfucker. Hawkman swoops down, saves both of them, and is like, you can't do that. You were going to kill those men. And he goes, yeah, but I knew you were there to save them. See, I'm learning that you can't just kill prisoners. See, I'm like, okay, I guess he's becoming a good guy. This moral is just getting lost. It got lost in all the confusion. The moral of the movie is getting lost in the confusion. Is it about Black Adam not killing people or what? There is no theme here. Like, here he is. He's chastising, what do you call it? He's chastising Hawkman. He goes, you think you're a hero, but you would let criminals go free. It's like, no, I'm going to take him to jail and have the justice system deal with it, because that's what a real hero do. Knowing many more will suffer their hands unless we end them now. Okay, so take him to jail. Like that's it. You have the ability, yes, we could kill all the bad people, but that's like a childish way of making the world work. At this point, the script is, they are actually trying to convince you, the audience. They're saying, well, we should just kill the bad people. That's what's crazy about this movie, is it's literally making the argument for extrajudicial murder. Like, Black Adam is the hero of the story. The filmmakers are showing us that he's cool, he's badass, look at him kill all these guys. And then he's giving a speech talking down to Hawkman, where I think we're supposed to identify with Black Adam's speech. Going, listen, how can you let these people survive when they might come back and kill? I mean, does this movie want me to vote for the death penalty? What is the moral? Now, I hoped that by the end of the movie that maybe Black Adam would have, like, either A, Black Adam would have a turn. He would say, you know what? You're right. There's no point in me killing regular people. I have such supreme powers that is a silly way of dealing with it. Clearly, these men deserve their day in court. Either that, or that he loses the trust of the family and the people around him, and they go, you're a murderer, you're a monster. And he goes, I know, and he flies off. You're going to see what the actual ending is. It is shockingly unaware of what it has set up here. And it seems to, again, vote with the idea that it is cool for Black Adam to kill whoever he wants. It's fucking nuts. All right, so they find the crown. They find Ishmael. He basically says, I'm the descendant of the king, and the legend of the crown has been passed down across generations. And when I get it, I will become a god, whatever else. Give me the crown or I'm going to shoot this kid. And then they give him the crown, and he goes to shoot the kid anyway. Black Adam goes, no, don't shoot that kid. Don't you shoot that kid. And it causes some sort of explosion. I guess just his powers or the crown. Okay, so does he lose control and it electrifies everything? Anyway, it ends up with the bad guy getting what appears to be vaporized. I was surprised this didn't have more repercussions, but it seems like everybody survives it. That seems like it would have been a great place to point out, hey, Black Adam, see how you lost control and your powers just put people in danger and everyone around you is in trouble because of you? Instead, it's like, no, everything's fine. We're fine. The only thing that happened was the bad guy disappeared. Okay, that's weird. It seems like a missed opportunity, but sure. Which then leads us to the big reveal that Black Adam is not the original Black Adam, that the statue that you see in the town is not him. This is not Black Adam. This is actually Black Adam's son. And what had happened was his son was a great leader and inspired all these people. And he was the one being like, no, son, don't be a hero. There's no point in it, blah, blah, blah. But his son inspired everyone with his rebellion, got whisked away by the magic wizards and given all these powers. But then, because of that, the king decided to try and kill the boy's family, tried to kill The Rock, and The Rock was dying. His son showed up and said, hey, let me give you the powers. I assume temporarily. He's like, hold on, let me temporarily transfer the powers to you. That'll heal your wounds, and you'll be fine. But then the second after he did so, his son got shot in the heart with an arrow and died. So he ended up getting the powers that were intended for his son. And that is the guilt that he goes, I was not the champion. The Wizards did not choose me. I'm not worthy of this power. I used it just to go fight the king, but I ended up destroying everything. Okay, that's kind of interesting. That's pretty cool. It definitely works. Again, this would have been way better if that opening sequence with the kid and the mining in the 2600 BC, if we had done that as an extended sequence and really got to know those characters, because that would be far more interesting. I guess it would have been kind of hard to hide the fact that the kid was not the Rock. You'd have to constantly have his father in shadow or whatever else, but this is like the most interesting part of the story, and it's kind of sad that it's all like little flashbacks and whatever else. I feel like there could have been some more there. Again, his son gets shot, he goes nuts, and he basically goes, you're right, I'm not worthy, I need to be put away. Again, this would have worked so much better if when he was trying to save that kid, if he had screwed up and accidentally like killed the kid or injured the kid, and he said, you're right, my powers are unstable. Did anything happen? Am I misremembering? Because it seems obvious in the scene where he goes to save the kid that, like, this should be the sequence where he realizes he can't control his powers and he's hurting people. Where is he shot? It wasn't a bullet. Get the crown. Did the kid get a little bit hurt or something? I'm trying to remember. The kid must have got hurt by the Rock's powers. Because he doesn't have control and he says, you should put me away. Yeah, I guess the kid got like a little knocked out, but I mean, if you really wanted to go hard in the paint, he should have blown one of the kid's arms off or something. Or put like a hole in him the side, whatever. It should have been like a serious, The Rock, your powers are unstable. You can't save people. You need to be put away. I guess the kid was hurt a little bit, but I don't really understand the extent of his injuries. And he seems fine like 2 scenes later. So that really did not work for me. Should have put him in a wheelchair. Like, really established. No, The Rock's powers are Black Adam's powers, are far too much for him to control. He's going to go, you know what? You're right. If I stick around, I'm just going to keep hurting people. Anyway, regardless of the terrible setup, they do end up putting him underwater. The idea being if he's in an underwater prison, he can't say Shazam. And, they also got him to say Shazam, which makes him lose his powers. He agreed. I mean, that was the thing. They're like, we have to convince him to say Shazam. He says, all right, Shazam, I'm a regular guy, whatever else. Okay, so the kid's fine. And you think it's over. You think the whole story's over. It's not. It's a little convoluted. Let's see if we can get to it. Okay, so I guess this guy, Ishmael or whatever, I guess he had to die or he needed Black Adam to kill him in order to access the demon realm. Because now he's literally in hell, and they say our name, and the name is Sabak. I don't know. Those all stand for different demons. The first one of which is Satan. It's like Satan, Beelzebub, whatever. Okay, he literally becomes Satan. And again, this is where I talk about this movie's theme is like silly. Because you go from, is it okay to kill people in the name of justice? Well, yeah, because what if they're fucking Satan? Well, yes, that's a different scenario. How is the same movie gonna seriously tell me, like, you really need to think about whether murder's okay. Is murder okay? Is murder ever morally justified? Hypothetical. Let's say Satan showed up and was destroying a town. Would it be okay to murder Satan? This is childish. We literally, so yeah, we're going to see him in a second. Let's be clear. It's just Satan. Satan, look at him. Look at it's just Satan. He's got a big pentagram on his chest. And the movie's theme is, I don't know if it's okay to murder Satan. You know, is that wrong? Should we put Satan in jail? Fuck you, movie. That's so stupid. Just leave all this, like, is killing okay stuff out the window. You can't seriously include that theme in a movie where the final answer is, yes, killing's okay, because if Satan shows up, we gotta kill Satan. Bro, what a fucking nightmare. All right. I mean, what can I say? This is the big final set piece where they fight Satan. Again, my favorite guy is Dr. Fate. He's got the cool looking special effects. He's fighting, 100 versions of him or fighting Satan. It's very cool. And then he uses his powers to contact Black Adam in the water prison. And he goes, listen, you got to wake up. You got to say Shazam. You got to say Shazam. Black Adam, he uses his magic to break open the thing. Then Black Adam fights his way out, manages to make it back to the surface and say Shazam. and then go fight Satan. I can't believe this movie ends with fighting Satan. Okay, so he fights Satan, and he does a pretty good job of it. Hawkman helps with the help of Dr. Fate's helmet. The other two Justice Society guys show up, the tornado, whatever else. Dr. Fate, spoilers, but whatever, dies fighting against Satan. It's a pretty good little scene where he goes, listen, I'm going to go fight him alone. They're all like, no, you can't, but he sets up a magic barrier to stop him. Probably the most powerful thing in the movie, the self-sacrifice of Dr. Fate being like, let me do this myself. Huge disappointment, though, because Pierce Brosnan was great. I go, fuck, he was the best part of the fucking movie. I want a Dr. Fate movie now, and you fucking killed him already. So that pissed me off, but I mean, I guess it's probably best for Pierce Brosnan to not get shackled to a fucking superhero franchise. He's like, listen, I'll do it once, but I'm not doing a million Dr. Fate movies. I ain't got time for this shit. Okay, so Satan makes zombies come back to life. The people on the ground are fighting the zombies. Black Adam is fighting Satan. They beat Satan. Okay, great. They beat Satan. And now I gotta find the scene where they find... Oh, there it is. This is it. This is it. This is such bullshit. Okay, I know I keep harping on this one thing, but I just find it so ridiculous. Is that, again, Hawkman is still like, listen, man, yeah, you can patrol Kahndaq and you can be a superhero or whatever, but if you try to go too nuts, we're gonna have to come back in and stop you. And this fucking bitch goes... It's his darkness that lets him do what heroes like you cannot. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Where he's like, just be careful. Okay, I want to get the full thing here if I can. Hopefully I don't get copyright struck. The kind of justice you dish out can darken your soul. Telling him, reminding him again, saying, listen, you just don't just randomly kill people. There's no point in it. You're a literal god. Superman doesn't fly around breaking people in half because it cheapens what he is. Okay, now Black Adam, yes, he's a little bit of a darker hero. He doesn't always play by the rules. But we, the audience, should agree. We should be agreeing with Hawkman, with the idea that, yes, it ultimately, if you just keep killing people, it will just darken you. You will lose your mortality. You will be less of a man and more of the demons you're claiming to fight. And then this bitch, who is supposed to be like, you know, this is the straight man of the movie. This is the human character that the rest of the normal humans, are supposed to identify with. It's going, let Black Adam kill everybody he wants. Who cares? It's because he fucking murders the shit out of people that he's so effective. And I'm like, okay, fuck this movie. Like, literally, because now I hate the whole family. At first, I was just like, I hate Black Adam morally. I can go, well, he's an anti-hero. You know, I disagree with him. I disagree with his methods. He gets the job done, sure. But ultimately, I have to say he's an anti-hero. I would never live my life like him. Now I have the stand-in for the audience, the human character, the everyman, going, well, that darkness is actually a strength. The fact that he drops people out of, flies people up into the air and whips them against the side of a mountain, that's just his true heroism shining through. Bro, he's not a hero. He's a bad man. Like, this, again, in a more competently written movie, either Black Adam would go, I know, and I'll do my best to stop being a dark piece of shit, or the humans would see, they would go, he's all we've got, I guess. I mean, ultimately, the better moral would be if she goes, the things you've done are so horrible. How could you possibly? How can we stand behind a protector who murders or whatever? There's never that scene. It's basically, no, Black Adam is justified in everything he's done. It's cool for him to murder people. It's fine. It's cool for him to murder people because he does it to a kick and rock soundtrack with a bunch of cool slow motion special effects. Bad moral. Bad moral. And then I look, and I hate to say it, where they're going, you're such a great hero. I go, wow, these people are dumb as fucking hell. Black Adam is not a good hero. He's clearly established that he is a bad guy. Yes, sometimes you want a bad guy to kill Satan. Sure, sometimes there's a worse bad guy, and you want the one bad guy to kill the worst bad guy. But the fact that they're all smiling, and they're like, I'm so glad we have a fucking murderous psychopath as the hero of Kahndaq. I go, man, your country is backwards as fuck. What is wrong with you people? What insane backwards dirt religion do you practice that teaches you it's okay to just murder your enemies and that's the greatest hero you're ever going to have? It's not like Wakanda where you go, oh, Wakanda's utopia. They're so smart and advanced. I go, Kahndaq is a backwards desert shithole that I would never want to visit if that's the way the people think. If the people go, yeah, you know, if somebody steals from you, just cut off their fucking hands. Why not? I mean, that's what's fair. Fuck Kahndaq. Fuck Black Adam. Fuck Kahndaq. Fuck all those people. Terrible, terrible theme. I am far more on the side of the Justice Society. And you, as a living, breathing human being, I hope you're also on the side of the Justice Society going, listen, man, yes, protect your people. Yes, kick out the invaders. But you can't just pick them up and throw them against the side of a mountain. It's unreasonable, and that is not how to handle things. Real quick, obviously, at the end of the movie, I'm happy about it, is Amanda Waller goes, you stay in Kahndaq, or I'm going to send a guy to deal with you. And Superman goes, we should have a little talk. Well, I'm glad to have Superman back. I'm happy to see Henry Cavill back as Superman. I think he does a great Superman. I think those movies were badly written by Zack Snyder, who doesn't know how to write. But I like to see Henry Cavill having another crack at the apple. I think there's a lot to like there. Well, guys, that was a long one. I ranted for quite a bit, but ultimately I have to say this. Don't make a movie where the moral of the movie is killing is fine as long as it's cool. All right? That's not a good moral for a superhero movie. That works if it's a comedy, if it's a Deadpool, if it's, hey, look at all this, outrageous violence for the sake of violence. Yeah, it's fun and funny, okay. But if you're seriously trying to have a serious moral of are extrajudicial killings, okay? Is it okay for heroes to go and impose their will on stuff? Then you have to pick a lane. Okay, then either you're making a serious movie about the morality of being a hero, or you're making goofy schlock where a guy kills people to a fun, stupid pop soundtrack, all right? You got to pick one of the two. You can't do both, and that's the big problem with Black Adam, is that it tries to do both. It also tries to cram way too much stuff into this 2-hour movie. Terrible exposition, terrible setups, terrible plot. This movie is bad. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, no, it's actually the critics. They don't know what they're... No, it's a bad movie, guys. Don't be stupid. Come on. You know it's bad. Well, let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Join the Vito Nation. Hit that button, baby. I love you. I want you to be a part of this experience. And don't forget, if you love superheroes, why not check out my comic book, Super Killer, where a guy kills people, but it's funny. It's a comic. It's comedy. For the sake of comedy. I don't make like a serious thing out of it because I know that you can't do that because that theme is at odds with itself. Either way, you guys are going to love this comic. Check out this promo video right here. Now, if you're like me, you've probably found yourself getting a bit tired of all these superhero movies. Sure, we occasionally get something good like Spider-Man, but we also get crap like Wonder Woman 1984, The Eternals, or that godforsaken Hellboy reboot. Point is, maybe you're getting tired of watching these checkbox diversity characters putting on silly costumes and fighting CGI aliens. Maybe you've found yourself watching the latest round of Cape shit and thought, man, I wish some guy with a big gun would just show up and shoot all these motherfuckers in the head. Well, buddy, have I got the comic book for you. Super Killer is a man with a mission, and that mission is to shoot superheroes in the fucking head. Immortal alien gods? Bam, headshot. Adorable magical girls? Bam, headshot. Batman, you want him to kill Batman? No, we can't use Batman. DC Comics owns Batman. But here's a guy who looks kind of like Batman. Bang! Right in the fucking head. Super Killer is a hilarious dark comedy written by one of the greatest comedic talents of the 21st century. Me. I wrote it. It also features incredible artwork by Keter LeBeau, the most beautiful man in Mexico. Point is, this is going to be the greatest comic book ever written, but we can't make it without your help. Check the link in the description and sign up for our mailing list. That way, when our crowdfunding campaign goes live, you'll be among the first in line to get yourself a copy of this glorious blood-soaked comic book masterpiece. Super Killer Book 1. Because for humanity to live, the Superman must die.